Alright, I've been using the Zenfone 10 for a little over 3 months now, as you can tell by the multiple dents on the frame from several drops, and I gotta say, Asus has the small smartphone game on lock. Like, looking at all the other offerings, nothing compares to this phone. Now, compared to last year's, it's like 99% identical to the Zenfone 9, which I loved and used as my main phone until I was sent this Zenfone 10. My only concerns at the time I posted that review was the material on the back and the size of the camera glass. Like, the Zenfone 9 feels awesome, but it's soft, so it's prone to scratches and rubbing. This year, we got a hard poly back, but there's a pinch of texture added, which still feels nice, just not as nice and soft as last year's, but I'd take this over the 9's back panel to avoid the back of my phone looking like this any day. So yeah, the camera glass is still just as massive and exposed to the potential of shattering on impact with the ground, but after dropping both my 9 and this 10 on gravel roads and pavement like multiple times, the glass is still in one piece somehow. But you can see that the top camera has taken more damage to not only the frame, but also the glass versus the bottom camera. Like, there's way more scratches on the glass. There's obviously some new colors, as you can see. The one I've got here is one of my favorites, Aurora Green, but man, the red and blue versions look really awesome too. Now, the display is basically the same 5.9-inch Super AMOLED panel from last year, but this year we got 144 Hz refresh rate, which is cool, except it only kicks in with games that support it, which is like not many. So it's not a forced system-wide refresh rate selection. Instead, the rest of the time it's still 120. Also, same resolution, same pixel density, and same brightness levels, which is a bit disappointing, but peak brightness is still great. It's plenty visible outdoors, and HDR content looks rad. Now, what's not disappointing is the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 coming equipped alongside 8 to 16 gigs of RAM and 128 to 512 gigs of super fast UFS 4.0 internal storage. So obviously, lag, stuttering, or delays of any kind shouldn't be the phone's fault, and it just slays benchmarks. And if you're into mobile gaming, you can expect top-notch performance while maintaining triple-digit frames per second. Now, the speakers still sound decent for listening to music with, but to me, they sound a lot better with games and video content. And for those of you that prefer wired headphones, we've still got a 3.5mm headphone output on the top. And as far as I can tell, the fingerprint reader doesn't appear to have any upgrades or changes. Like, I'm still getting a fair amount of misses, even though it's working perfectly fine on camera, of course, and I still don't like how flush with the frame it is. Makes finding it kind of difficult sometimes in the pocket. So we're running Android 13 with Zen UI on top. I really like Zen UI. It's very similar looking and feeling to vanilla Android, but with a ton of customization settings added in like an elegant sort of way. Like, for example, the Home app is easy to navigate and has some great user customization options. In sound settings, there's an outdoor mode option and an audio wizard EQ. We've got a bunch of system performance modes and power saving options in the battery settings. In advanced, we've got the Edge tool for app shortcuts and actions, OptiFlex, which apparently does some fantastic things, but doesn't really explain how. And then, of course, we've got Game Genie, where you can customize the system performance mode and maximum refresh rates for individual games, but also monitor your system temperature, battery, network performance, and do all sorts of other things. Man, Asus has the best gaming assistant software on the market, hands down. Now, we still have the same 4300 mAh battery as last year, same 30-watt max charging and 5-watt reverse wired charging, but this year we get 15-watt wireless charging, which means I finally get to use my bedside wireless charger. Again, finally, thank you. And battery life's been great for me. In dynamic mode, I get like 2 days easy, usually ending the night between 10 to 20% left. In high performance mode, I get a day and a half, maybe a bit less if I've been binging TikTok and streaming music a bit too much. Well, we still have the same sensor in the main camera as last year, which is fine because it's a solid 50 megapixel shooter with the best 6-axis OIS I've ever used. And this year, the hybrid stabilizer system has been upgraded from version 1.0 to version 2.0. which means it's better, obviously. Photos still look great too. Now, I've had smart scene optimization turned on this whole time, so there's of course the typical processing going on with the exaggerated colors like, super blue skies and deep reds and all that, which I like. So as long as skin tones look good and balanced, which they are, exposure handled well, which it is, I'm a happy camper. Now, the ultra-wide's been upgraded from a 12 megapixel sensor to 13 megapixels, but for the life of me, I can't find anything new or different about it at all. I did notice that it's got a warm bias in several environments though, but in others, the color temperature matches fine, so I don't know what's going on there. Anyways, night mode sucks. It just sucks. Same as last year. I don't know how it's so bad considering the sensor, but like, if there isn't more than enough ambient light, like to the point where you don't even need night mode anymore, it's just mushy looking, man, which makes it a redundant feature. Fantastic. So we can record up to 8K video, but I wouldn't, so I didn't. Instead, I can tell you 4K at 30p looks amazing. Exposure transitions are nice and smooth, there's zero wobble or shutter lag, and stabilization is just insane. See, this boat is going 60 miles per hour across a breezy lake, but look how stable the frame is. Now, the front selfie cam's been upgraded from 12 megapixels to a 32 megapixel RGB-W sensor, which gives it better low light performance. Personally, I haven't found it provides any more low light performance than any other selfie cam, but yeah, colors, skin tones, and exposure all look really well balanced, and I like the f-stop slider in portrait mode, so I've been pretty happy with it so far. So yeah, the Zenfone 10, it's not perfect at anything, but it's really good at almost everything, you know what I mean? Like, it's solid, it can take multiple violent drops, it's got all the latest specs, and it's small, like you can actually hold and use it with one hand. This is, without a doubt, the best small phone, period. Anyways, I think that's it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next one. Cheers.